everyone. Welcome to today's Agent Secrets live session with myself, Christy, from Success website. I hope you're all doing well. I see that you're coming in fast and furious. Hello, Jane. Hello, Jim. Hello, Keisha, Malin, Mika, Michael, Patrick, Paul, Sebastian, Tatiana, and Francois, Donna, Andrew. Awesome to see you all here with me today. Love doing these live sessions because it gives me the opportunity to not only share information from you and hopefully teach you something that you can put right into action today, but you have the chance to interact with me. So if you have any questions at all for me today, please do not be shy. Enter them into the chat. Let's get the chat warmed up a little bit by maybe letting us know where you are. Where are you located? I hope you're safe. It's so scary what's happening out there in Southern California with the fires. And I know we've got a lot of clients out there. So if you are out there, I really hope you're okay and everything is safe. I see Christiane Laval. Hello, Christiane. Bonjour. Comment ça va? Donna, hello from Florida, Crystal River. Nice. We got Andrew in Tacoma, Washington State. Very nice out there. Okay. Yeah, don't be shy, guys. I'll tell you where I am. I'm here in Toronto, and it is a typical winter day here in Toronto. We got lots of snow. It's pretty cold, and I think we're going to get more snow. So we're having a classic Canadian winter this year. Hello, Malin from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yeah, we got some people in Florida. Very nice. All right. So today, what we're going to do is talk about lead generation, how to capture better buyer and seller prospects. I hope you're all falling out of your hibernation mode here, holiday mode. I know sometimes it takes a couple weeks to get back into things, but spring will be here before you know it. So it is very important to start to think about your marketing strategy, how you are going to position yourself. This is a proactive activity, marketing, right? Leads don't just happen, unfortunately. It does require some thought, some planning, some strategy, and advertising. So we're going to discuss advertising primarily today. And that all comes down to generating leads, having effective lead magnets to do that. But we don't want to generate just any old lead. We want to generate the best leads that we can. And a lot of that comes down to selecting your ideal target market. So we're going to talk about those things. Get your questions ready. And I will also ask Rob or Sobia, who are with me today on this call. They're sort of behind the scenes, keeping an eye on the chat. But I encourage you all to check out our blog, our Instagram page, and our YouTube channel. We often get questions during these presentations about whether or not it's recorded, where can I access the recordings. A lot of that information is available on these channels. So we're going to get Rob and Sobia to first say hello to everyone in the chat. They're going to be there to share some useful resources with you, including those channels. So check that out. Now, for those of you who are brand new to our Agent Secrets live training, my name is Christy. I've been with Success website for 23 years. I've been hosting these webinars probably for over a decade, and I've managed thousands of ad accounts specifically for realtors. So I've worked with real estate agents throughout my time here at Success, learned a tremendous amount during that time. And one of the things that I love about being here, working with this group, being in this field, is I never get bored. I'm always learning things, new things every single day. The digital marketing landscape is constantly changing, constantly evolving. And sometimes it seems overwhelming and hard to keep up with, but that's why we're here every week, right? That's why we spend this time together to really dig into what is going to make the biggest difference for your business and what are the things that you need to focus on. So I will I'll leave it there, but I will also mention that if you are interested in contacting me, okay, I've put my email address here on this slide. I do check that email. I do answer questions. Sometimes I book consultations. So Christy at successwebsite.com is the best way to reach me. But you can also book a free online marketing assessment by going to successwebsite.com/management. This is what we do, guys. Okay. We focus on the real estate industry and technology and bringing it all together. So if you're interested in a one-on-one conversation, please either email me directly or you can go to successwebsite.com/management. And I can see that we got some links in the chat. Sweet. Okay, let's get started. So creating a solid marketing plan is the key to turning your business goals into reality. Every good marketing strategy starts with a very good marketing plan. So you really got to lay the groundwork. First things first. Now, the key questions for picking your ideal target market. So before we think about posting ads on Facebook, before we go and hire somebody to run Google ads for us or start throwing money at lead generation systems, take some time to think about your ideal target market because not every buyer and seller is exactly the same. You all live in different areas of the country. You all focus on maybe specific types of real estate, right? I know that some of you really focus very heavily on pre-construction. Some of you focus heavily on relocation. Some of you are specialists with seniors, right sizing, downsizing. Some of you are experts when it comes to first-time home buyers. So it's very, very important to think about who exactly it is that you want to attract. So the fundamentals really are first and foremost, where are they? Because any effective marketing campaign starts with location, especially for real estate, okay? People are buying and selling in specific areas. You trade and you work in specific areas, right? So we have to know, where are they? Think about, where are your ideal buyers and sellers? Are they within that 20-mile radius of where you live? Are they perhaps in another state because you're in Florida, because you have a lot of people buying vacation properties where you are, or maybe people are relocating to your area from another state for whatever reason, right? Maybe you specialize in cottage country and you want to target the city centers because you know they're the ones who are going to be buying cottages where you trade, where you sell. So think about location. Think about what it is that they want. So what is the type of home that they're looking for? What a first-time buyer is looking for could be very different to what an empty nester is looking for. A move-up buyer tends to look for very specific things, and those are a great, I mean, that's a great market to target, move-up buyers. So typically they are, they have a home to sell, so that's great. So they're gonna also need help with that, but they will likely start by looking for a home to buy. What's important to a move-up buyer? Maybe they have kids, probably do. They need more space. They need something with more bedrooms. Maybe they need something that is close to the school district that is very popular in your area. Maybe they need something that has a backyard or a finished basement, or all of these things you can list out, and that's the information that we're going to use to craft our ideal marketing campaign. Because that is the third point, which is very important. How will you convince them to act? What are the irresistible offers you can make to that group that is going to say, yep, That's what I'm looking for. Give it to me, right? Because if you make the perfect offer at the perfect time, you can generate an extremely high quality lead. So a lot of this is about being in the right place at the right time with the right offer. But first things first, get that ideal target market into your head and talk to either your whoever's doing your advertising, or maybe you're with Success Website, you want to talk to your success rep about that. These are the things that anyone who's helping you with your advertising absolutely needs to know. Okay, so let us know if you have any questions about that. But I think I I can't emphasize enough how important this is. So if you are trying to reach people from outside of your area, then you may decide to use a different type of media outlet, right? So direct mail isn't going to be the best way to target people outside of your target market who want to relocate. Google Ads is a perfect way to do that. Facebook ads, great way to target outside of your local market. And those settings are pretty easy to set, but the location is extremely important. So here's some examples of ads that have been crafted with some of these parameters in mind. New construction, new build homes for sale. How many of you on the call today are looking for buyers for these types of properties? Because I know that not all of you do that, right? In some areas, these these are the hot commodity, and you really want to push that. Looks like Donna does, right? She entered in the chat. This is something that she really likes to market because that's in demand. That's what her buyers are looking for. What about homes and cottages? We have clients who specialize in this type of property, and this type of market tends to really people start to think about buying cottage properties usually in the spring or the winter. Actually, right now would be, if someone was really serious about buying a cottage, now would be a great time to do it. There may not be as much inventory out there, but the prices are probably better now than they will be sort of as we get into the spring market. Homes with pools, right? That could be a great offer for a move-up buyer, somebody who has kids and they envision this amazing scene of all their kids splashing around in the pool with their friends. And then there's just homes that are like available for a really, really good price, because a first-time home buyer is going to be thinking about budget, right? They're going to be thinking about what they can afford, what they have saved up a down payment for, and how to get into the market. So price is going to be a really big factor for a first-time home buyer. So that will get you thinking about some of those offers that you can craft to target your ideal target market. But I will mention that in none of these ads are we really talking about you necessarily as an agent, right? There are no real guarantees in here. There's nothing about your, whether it's your name or your brand or your business. They're all fairly unbranded ads. And the reason why we do that is because the less branded method of advertising will always generate the most leads for you. Now, it's not to say that you're not going to have some branding on these ads or these offers. Chances are when somebody clicks on any one of these ads, they're going to see your brand, right? They're going to see that you're the one who's offering this hot list. You're the one who's offering this free report, this information. What I'm trying to get across here is that that's not the primary focal point, right? The primary focal point or primary focus is the offer. Because every buyer out there, every prospect has that question, what's in it for me, right? What is going to get me the information that I'm looking for right now with the least amount of hassle? So that's the type of ad that we want to run. Now, it is also important, though, to optimize your website so it is set up to attract leads. And what that means is your website will have some essential factors in here. Okay, these are the essentials. Your website needs to be up to date. So that means you've got up-to-date photos, contact information, brokerage information. Everything has to be up to date there. Now, performance tracking, that is something that you can use like Google Analytics or something like that. But you ideally want to have something in place that is going to tell you how you're doing from month to month in terms of traffic. Everything that we're talking about today in terms of generating leads and advertising depends on traffic going to your site, right? This is your key online asset. So all of our landing pages, all of our listings, all of our offers, they're all going to exist within the website. So if you don't feel confident that your website is up to date, if you don't feel confident that you have those compelling offers, and you've got all the content on your site that is going to put you in a position to be the trusted advisor, the source, the key source of information, then we need to do some work there, right? We need to do what we can to optimize the site so that when people visit it, when they go there, it is ready to capture them, right? To capture their information. And that comes down to landing pages, right? You've got to have forms on your site that are going to collect information. If you have an IDX on your site, make sure that people have to create an account in order to get that information. If you're running Google ads, Facebook ads to your site, send them to a landing page that has a form on it, right? Or a squeeze page. They have to fill in their information before they get the report or they get access to those listings. Now, social media does play a role in this as well. Think of your social media profiles almost as an extension of your website or your web presence. Consistency is key. If you have a team name or if you market yourself as under either your name or your team name or whatever it is, make sure that is all consistent on all channels. So that is that's important, because if people go to your website and they see that you are, let's say, the Success Website team, and then they go to social media and it's all about, Christy, or it's all about, your name, or perhaps it's an old team name, something like that. Brand consistency is really important. So I would definitely spend some time looking at the social media channels, make sure that you've got that in place. Contact info has to be all up to date. Reviews, extremely important. So having your reviews on your Google business page or having reviews present on your Facebook business page, are you effectively collecting those and posting those? That's going to help to, again, instill that trust. When people are doing research on you, they're going to check out your reviews, of course. And there are ways to collect those reviews effectively and make sure that people know where to go to do that. But that's something that you're going to want to make sure is in place as well. And then sharing the relevant content across all channels. All those offers that we looked at before to attract buyers and sellers, they can be shared on social media as well. So that is what you'll want to do, right? Once you have that content in place, get it out to as many people as possible through as many different channels as possible as well. So that's just really some housekeeping that you would want to review every few months, I would say. I know that many of you have different websites and different things going. That can make it tricky, right? That can make it harder to manage all of those things because you've got all these different uh, services that you use or different products, and your web presence is kind of scattered. You know, I'm not saying that it's not a good idea to use different platforms and things like that. I think you sometimes you have to. But as far as having a primary website that you're going to be focused on as far as getting organic traffic to, driving all of your paid advertising to, it does make a lot of sense to have one primary site to do that. And that's a bit of a departure from what we've taught over the last couple decades, right? We definitely have different styles of websites that we offer to our clients. I know that many of the clients who have had our services for a long time, they had a less branded website and they had a branded website. Maybe they had a website that was specifically for listings, and maybe they had a website that was for recruiting, and maybe they had a website for mortgage brokers. Like we had all these different products. But the more I learn about SEO and the more that we're um, sort of using the web, right? I do feel like it makes a lot of sense now to really try to integrate everything as much as you can into one primary website, because you can have less branded landing pages on your branded site. You can have all of your listing information, all of your IDX information on your branded site. It can all be integrated now, whereas before the technology wasn't quite there. So anyhow, that's all part of the optimization. Now, as far as advertising is concerned, I like to always show this chart to give you an idea what the life of a lead looks like, because it's not just about generating the lead. The lead is going to go through a whole experience, and you have to think about each and every stage and how it's going to play out, because the lead is one thing, getting in touch with the lead, nurturing that lead, converting that lead, these are all steps. So having the marketing, the compelling marketing is key. That's what's going to attract people to you. That's what's going to get the lead. But you also have to have that fast, efficient follow-up. So when you do generate a lead, whether it's for a hot list of homes, a free report, maybe you're giving people access to a listing, you have to have follow-up and fulfillment activated automatically. Okay, that means someone requests something from you, they're going to get it automatically. That's what people are expecting. So you've got to make sure that that is in place. Now, as far as the multi-channel, multi-touch follow-up, that is part of your CRM. So when you are building your sales funnel, okay, because you can look at all this as part of a funnel. As they come into your funnel, you're going to have these systems in place to try to do your best to reach that lead. It's essentially all hands on deck at that point. So you've got to be thinking about the different channels you're using to reach that lead. Phone, of course, is absolutely essential. If you can get in touch with these people on the phone, that is going to accelerate the conversion process like by 10x, okay? But it's hard to get them on the phone sometimes. So if you can't get them on the phone, you need to have some text messages going out, email going out, ringless voicemail is great. All of those different touch points should be happening automatically when the lead comes in. And that can go on for days or weeks or months, depending on what follow-up plan you have in place. What we like to work around is sort of like the 14-day conversion plan, right? Where you are giving that lead 14 days to engage and respond to your marketing. Typically, it should happen fairly early. If a lead is really motivated, they will respond quickly, and you got to be ready to jump on that when that happens. But if the lead is not super motivated, let's say they're just starting the process, they're just doing some research and trying to figure out what's out there, and they may be talking to different realtors, they may be signing up for different services, things like that. You are going to be putting them on a nurture plan that will be sending them information either on a daily basis or every couple of days. But that also can include text message, ringless voicemail, email, right? This is where action plans come into play. So that should be all integrated into the CRM, but it's a big part in this life of the lead cycle, and I cannot stress enough how important it is to have multi-channel, multi-touch follow-up. Now, the nurturing, remarketing, and re-engagement. Nurture is the key here. So nurturing leads, that means doing your best to stay top of mind. And you're going to be leaning on email quite a bit for this, but that's where the monthly newsletters come into play. That's where the blog posts that you're doing, hopefully, every couple of weeks or monthly, and sending those emails out to people to let them know that you've got some content available. That's where that comes into play, as well as any advertising that you have set up to target people who have already been on your website. And we're going to take a look at a couple of examples of that. And the tracking. So tracking is it is something that I lean very heavily on as a marketer, because it's the reporting and the results that is going to give me the information I need to know if something is working or if it's not working. I work with a lot of agents, and some of the questions that I ask are, how many leads did you get a hold of, right? How many did you meet with? But other than that, it's all about number of visits to the website, how many of those visits converted into a lead, and what is the cost of all of that, okay? And that's where the tracking comes into play. We need to know, what is our return on our ad spend? What is our return on our investment? It's great to be spending money on advertising, but if you are not making money from that advertising, that's a problem. But you can't determine that without the proper tracking in place. Okay. Now, Facebook versus Google. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I'm going to probably kind of breeze through this, but one of the questions that we often get from our clients is, should I be spending my ad dollars on Facebook, or should I be spending it on Google? Now, these two media outlets are, I would say, the dominant ones in the online digital marketing space right now. And they both have pros and cons, and they both have different costs as well. So we're going to take a quick look at the pros of each and the cons. So I would say Facebook is, it has a very large user base, okay? So you can target a lot of people and get in front of a lot of people on Facebook. So, and that includes Instagram as well. So that is a pro for sure. Custom audiences, you can create custom audiences by uploading your contact lists or putting a pixel on your website. So you can target people who have been to your website, which allows you to re-engage with existing customers. So that is very good, I would say, as far as the Facebook ad platform is concerned. Their remarketing options are probably one of the biggest pros that I can see. Budget flexibility. So you can spend as little as $5 a day on a Facebook ad, and then of course you can scale up from there. So there aren't many online platforms or any form of advertising really that allows you to spend so little to get in front of such a large group. And it's flexible, right? So you can decide what you want to spend. And there's also I think that's it for the pros. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's also, you can also set a daily budget or a lifetime budget. So that gives you a little bit more flexibility as well. So if you were advertising, let's a listing, and it's not an evergreen ad that's going to run every day for weeks and months, you can give it a lifetime budget and say, I'm only going to spend $100 on this, and it's going to run for 2 weeks. Okay. So you have a lot of control over your spending when it comes to Facebook, which is definitely a pro. Now, for the cons, there are some restrictions, and a lot of that comes down to the type of ad that you're running. Now, because we're running real estate ads primarily, that means we're falling into the housing category. And so that means we're going to have a few restrictions like, we can't target specific zip codes, or we can't target specific age groups, which can be a bit of a challenge, but we have to do that. Otherwise, we're going to find that our ads get rejected, right? Or they're just not going to reach our target audience because they're in violation of these policies. Platform dependency is also, I think, a bit of a con because unlike Google, Facebook and Instagram are their own ecosystem. So when you're advertising on, and I should basically call it Meta at this point, even this is a bit antiquated, right? Because Facebook and Instagram are all under the Meta umbrella. You're you're at the mercy of the platform. So you're only going to show up within that platform, and they change their policies, they change different aspects of their audience requirements, things like that. Your account could get shut down, and then you're completely unable to advertise, right? Fortunately, that doesn't happen as often as it once did, but that is a real con, because if you are dependent on that platform solely, if something happens to it, you're done, right? Look at what happened recently with TikTok. Everyone was freaking out because the US decided they were going to ban TikTok. And of course, that lasted for about 5 hours. But you had all these advertisers, all these influencers who all of a sudden their primary channel of selling and advertising was done, and they had nothing, they had no recourse, they could do nothing about it. So that is definitely, I would say, one of the downfalls of this type of advertising. You also have limited targeting for some niches, like the housing category has some limitations, which we got into just a second ago. Zip codes, things like that, you cannot target directly. Now let's talk a little bit about Google. So as far as the Google ad network, it has a very high intent audience. And again, like, this platform is changing so quickly in the way that it delivers its ads, but people go to Google to find out things, right? They go there for research, they go there to learn more about things. They certainly go there to look for real estate. I can't think of one other place that gets as much keyword traffic as Google for real estate related keywords. So it has the potential to get you in front of a lot of high intent people. So that is a huge pro to Google, and that's really why it's been such a dominant player in this space. You can also use very precise keywords. So because Google is search-based, as opposed to Facebook, which is display-based, you can only attract people that are typing in very specific keywords for your areas. Gives you a lot more control over how your ads are going to appear. So you can make sure that your ads are aligned with specific search queries, which means you can target a much more relevant audience. And like Facebook, you do have control over your budget. So you can set daily, monthly budgets. You can set your maximum cost per click. You can actually set what you would like your target cost per lead to be. So there's a lot of control over the budget as well. And another big pro is the diversity in the ad formats. So because Google is also connected to YouTube, that means you could have your ads show up on YouTube as well as Google, as well as Gmail and any other property that exists within Google. So that gives you a lot of flexibility, and there's also a whole ton of different formats that we can use for our advertising. Google cons, the cost can add up. So it can get pretty expensive, especially if you're in a very competitive area where the cost per click is higher. That can add up, right? So if you've got a daily budget that is, let's say, $10 a day, and your cost per click is over $2, $3, you're only going to get a few clicks a day, for your budget. So it definitely can add up, and it's not uncommon for people to spend thousands of dollars a month on Google advertising. Now, another con is the complexity of it. The Google Ads Manager has a lot within it that is very helpful to an expert like myself who is used to setting up Google Ads and managing accounts. For somebody who has never done this before, it's extremely daunting, and it's almost, I would say, impossible to figure out for someone who has no experience running Google Ads. So the management of your Google Ads is something you're going to want to outsource. So I would say, if you want to invest money in Google advertising, find a company that you trust, that you can communicate with, let them know what your goals are, and then have them set it up and run it for you. Okay. It's really important to have a trained professional doing this. And it's also important that they are monitoring it for you, and then having regular calls and reviews with you to go over the results. And as far as ad budgets and average cost per lead is concerned, you are looking at, I would say, minimum monthly ad spend for a Google ad campaign is $500 a month. That gives you about 15 bucks a day to work with. That's the minimum. So you have to be prepared for that type of advertising budget if you want to run some ads on Google. And the average cost per lead can range anywhere from $20 to $35 for a seller lead, and then $10 to $15 for buyer leads. It really does vary. A lot of it depends on how competitive your market is, how effective the ad is in generating leads. The keywords have to be effective as well and getting you the right type of traffic. But this is a pretty good ballpark in terms of setting your expectations and what the costs will be. So here's just a little snapshot of what the Google Ads Manager looks like. This is just one aspect of it, but you'll see that there are some what we call KPIs. These are key performance indicators, things like impressions. I talk a lot about traffic, but before you get traffic, you have to get impressions, right? People have to see the ad. That's what an impression is. So the impressions, that number is always going to be much higher than the clicks. But the clicks, or the interactions, that's what is getting people to your website, right? That is absolutely required to generate the lead. You have to have traffic, you have to have clicks. And then we get into the cost, right? Here's the overall cost. Here's the conversion rate. Here are the number of leads. Here's the cost per lead. So all of these things have to do with the tracking and monitoring of the campaign. But that's the kind of data that the ad manager will be looking at and communicating to you so you understand if there is an issue, if we're not generating leads, it could be because any one of these areas is just underperforming. So that is essentially, part of the Google ad landscape, but another big part is setting up the ads. And something to be aware of when you're running Google search ads is that they're dynamic. Google is going to generate these ads for you based on the search query. So when we're setting up the Google ads for you, we're going to use a variety of headlines and descriptions. And in each one of those sections, we're going to make sure that we're trying to communicate the offer to the best of our ability. But as you can see, there are some restrictions in terms of the number of characters we can use in each one. But the important thing to keep in mind here is that Google is going to mix and match all of these elements, right? Headlines, descriptions, photos, to deliver the best type of ad for you. And it will also look at which ads are generating the most clicks, which ones are getting the most conversions, and probably favor those combinations because that's what's working. And as far as remarketing is concerned and the display network, if you are on, let's say, Amazon doing some shopping, or if you're on, I don't know, Walmart or Costco, or like almost all of those big sites have remarketing tags built in. You'll notice that after you visited those sites and you looked at some content, when you go to other sites, either on your phone or on your browser, you're going to start to see ads from that company. If we're doing a good job at this, if you go to Success website and then you start going to other sites and browsing things, you should start to see our ads because we've essentially tagged you, and now you're going to start to see our marketing. So that is also a big part of the Google ecosystem, is having those display ads that you can launch when people have already come to your site. And these can be videos, they can be images. There's lead forms that you can integrate. There's all sorts of different formats and ways that you can get your messaging across. And this can be very inexpensive, actually, these display campaigns. You're not paying per click, right? So you're actually paying to have your ad shown to a certain number of people, and the cost can be very small. It can be like $5 a day for a display ad campaign, but it will only work if you are generating traffic. Okay, if you have no one's coming to your site, then there's nobody that's part of your remarketing list. So that is something, right, to make a note of. Facebook Ads Manager is much simpler. I have clients who have figured out how to run their own Facebook ads, and you may be one of them. It can be pretty simple to set up. There are some nuances and things that I would say you may need some help with in terms of installing your retargeting pixel, or maybe uploading a custom audience, or maybe you need a little bit of help, connecting your CRM to Facebook to make sure the leads all flow through. So those are things that, yeah, we help a lot of our clients with, for sure. But we also craft the ads. We've got a lot of experience with that. And here are just some examples of some of my favorites. The listing ads, I find, perform extremely well. So if you are marketing a specific property, I always recommend running an ad on Facebook to get some leads for it. But you'll see on the right here, we also have a hot list ad that we can run ongoing. That's more of an evergreen ad. So a hot list of homes that are going to target a certain type of buyer or seller. So for example, the ad on the right for 4-bedroom homes with finished basements, who is the ideal target for that? Move up buyers, right? So people who have families and they need a bigger home, they need something with more space. So that would be part of our audience segment, right? We would want to make sure that we're targeting people who perhaps are in that move up category because they will also have a home to sell. So the traffic is absolutely necessary. You need to have traffic come into your site. Now you can use different methods for that. Paid ads, what we were just talking about, Google, Facebook, that's where you have a budget, you put it in to either one of those channels, you spend some money, they generate the traffic for you. There's also organic, okay? Having some SEO as part of your strategy is important. It takes time though. It's not something that's going to generate leads for you overnight, but having lots of good content on your website, like a blog, or having IDX integrated into your site where you've got new listings constantly appearing, that can all help with SEO. But as far as generating traffic, you're going to want to spend some money on that, either through Facebook, Google. Maybe you have an email list that's large and you're sending out emails to your list and driving them back to your website. Just always be thinking about how you can get more visits. And as far as paid and organic goes, we do have, here's a comparison. If you want to generate leads quickly though, the paid method is definitely the way to go. But as far as really good quality leads are concerned, many times those will come in organically because either people are looking for you specifically and they've typed in your domain name directly into the website to find you, or they're looking for real estate information in an area that you're in and you've generated a lot of content on that, and that's how they find you. So it's a good way to, I would say, promote yourself to gain that trust, right? It is a long-term strategy though. Here's just a typical track your success report. This is what we have here in our success platform. And this is what we use when we're managing your account to see how well our ads are doing. So we're not only tracking, well, this is just one report. We have a variety of reports that we use, but we're not just tracking your impressions and your clicks and your leads. We're also tracking the response, right? And the replies. And that comes down to who is responding to your text messages, who is calling you back. And that's where this response or this engagement rate comes into play. That's a really good engagement rate, by the way. If you've got 22 leads and 8 of them responded to your marketing, that's pretty good. 50 is even better. But yeah, anything above 30% is quite good. Okay, I do know that we've got a lot of questions coming in. I am going to take a quick look at those, and then we'll get a little bit more into things like using listing data on your website and leveraging that to generate leads. So Andrew's asking or has something in the chat here. I would like to specifically target military members since there's such a large military population here. 3 counties include the one I reside in. Are 3 counties in the top 50 of the nation as far as VA sales volume? Okay. So that's a great target market. So I would start by listing out the three counties, and do all three have the same level of desirability or importance? Is there one that you would prefer, or are all three equal? Because if all three are equal, then you can focus on all three. And then that means if you're going to run some ads, you want to run the ads for those counties and think about what is important to that audience. Are they looking for homes that are the best possible price? Are they looking for homes that and financing that's specifically for members of the military? I know that that's often a nice hook to include. Okay, so now I've got a question here from Donna. I have some ads running through Success. I was wondering how I can sign up as if I'm a buyer. I don't ever see the advertisements that are out there. I think it would help me understand the flow of the lead better. Yeah, that's a really good point. And what we can do is if it's a Facebook ad, we can send you a link, right? Where you click on that link and it's going to open up that ad within your Facebook app or within, online on the web. And you can actually go through the process of signing up through the form, and then you'll get presented with a link, and then you will kind of see exactly how the steps go from there. But that's a good idea. It's a bit trickier to do on Facebook because you need us to share that link with you. Sometimes you're just not going to see the ads organically. Google, we can basically send you a screenshot of the ad and then a link to the landing page as well. So once you fill out the landing page, you're going to go through the steps of what the lead is going to receive at that point. Fernando has a question about X, formerly known as Twitter. Americans are more inclined to use it. Yeah, I back when it was Twitter, we did test it out. We ran some ads there. I wasn't particularly crazy about their audience targeting and things like that. It seemed like it was structured more for big corporations, people who wanted to target larger areas. Maybe it's changed, but yeah, I can't say much about X at this point. And there's another follow-up question from Fernando. How do you differentiate seller leads from buyer leads? Is the remarketing a different service? I knew that Facebook had it, but not Google. Candace is the best in your team to do Facebook ads. Oh, amazing results with her. That's awesome. Okay, that's there's a couple questions there. So differentiating buyer leads from seller leads, it all depends on what they came in from, right? If the lead comes in from, let's say, a hot list ad, or they've signed up to get access to listings, things like that, they're in the market for listings, which means they are a buyer. That doesn't mean they're not a seller. It just means what they were looking for at that time was access to listing information, which makes them a prospective buyer. If someone was signing up for a free home evaluation, or maybe they wanted to know what the home down the street sold for, or perhaps they are inquiring about like a free report on how to sell your home in a divorce situation, something like that, then we can be pretty sure that they are also a seller. So it has to do with the campaign. That's how we differentiate. Now, Google has lots of remarketing options. Their display network is extremely effective for remarketing. In fact, your ads are going to show in a lot more places than they would on Facebook. Okay, here's a good question from Donna. I always have vendors emailing me that my website is nice, but it's not optimized for the best SEO. Is this something that I should consider? Does Success do any optimizing on our websites? Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because there are tons of vendors out there and they love to target realtors, as you know. You guys are prime targets for any type of marketing service out there. So yeah, you will get calls from SEO companies. They will tell you that your website could be doing better, you could be ranking higher. And I will, full disclosure, I would not claim to be an SEO expert by any means. Throughout my career, I've focused mainly on paid ads, but I've seen enough and I've heard enough to know that a lot of these services claim to give you big results within the first couple of weeks, and I know for a fact that that's just not possible. And I also know enough to be able to say with confidence that any SEO strategy really must start with content and having quality content on your website. So you're going to want to make sure that, for one, you have the proper tracking in place. So you've got your analytics set up. We've got the Google Search Console set up, and at least we know from month to month how we're doing as far as our traffic is concerned. But you'll also want to have a steady stream of content being plugged into your website. And if you want to be known for a very specific area, we need to have content on your site for that, because that's what Google is looking for. They're looking for those keywords. So if you don't have those keywords on your site, there's no way that you're going to show up organically. You'll probably find that if you look for your name within Google, your site's going to come up organically. That's not a problem because your name is unique. It's the more generic search terms that is harder to show up for. That requires a fair amount of content and strategy and backlinking. Google loves high authority websites, so that means the more traffic your site is getting, the more likely it is to get some SEO. The longer your website has existed online, the more likely it is to have pages that have been ranked and indexed and whatnot. So yeah, there's a lot of variables to consider, but there's no time like the present to start to think about how you can optimize your site. And yeah, Donna, absolutely, we can talk about that. We can discuss how we can help with that. Okay, I have been talking a lot. I'm gonna wrap this up in a couple of minutes. Thanks for hanging in there. And I will also encourage Rob or Sobia to include links in the chat to the HDX page on Success Website, so you can learn more about that. Some of the cool things that we've done with our real estate websites is how we use listings and the IDX to generate more leads. We like to, for one, have very specific hot lists that you can use to attract your target market. So if you want to have a list of homes with pools, so if you want to have a list of homes with a 2-car garage or finished basements, whatever it is, we would create that hot list for you. And in order for people to get access to it, they have to create an account. So that is a great way to use listings as an offer. We also have integrated offers into the feed. So when people are on your site looking at properties, we're also giving them compelling reasons to ask for a free report or find out what the home down the street sold for or get a free home evaluation. This is also a great way to generate some leads. Text message marketing. If you have a sign rider that you can put on your listings, I would definitely consider using a text code as a way to generate leads for those listings. Rob's going to put in a link to that, or Sobia. It's successwebsite.com/text message marketing. But you can try it out yourself to see how it works. It follows the whole life of a lead cycle, right? So they text a code to get access to the information, and then we have multi-channel follow-up, and then basically we remarket to them and put all of those steps into play. But what's really nice about the text message marketing is that you're going to get a valid phone number. Every lead that comes in from that ad is going to be a valid phone number, because that's what they need to put in to get the information. So you can use text codes on sign writers, of course, postcards, print ads, business cards, bus benches. It's basically, instead of using a domain name or a QR code, you ask them to text to get access to the information. Okay, thank you guys so much. This has been, I think, a really good session. I'm loving the questions and the interaction, so I appreciate that so much. Thank you, Sobia and Rob, for keeping an eye on the chat and sharing those links. I will encourage you to reach out if you need help with this stuff, right? If a lot of this is sort of overwhelming and you're just not sure where to start, we can help you put together a plan. You can contact me directly. Again, that's Christy@successwebsite.com, or visit successwebsite.com and either sign up for a free demo or a free marketing consultation. Either or, we can certainly help you and get you ready to go for the spring, right? Get all these things in place for you, optimizing websites, creating your sales funnels, follow up, all that good stuff. That's exactly what we do. And of course, stay with us because we're going to have another live session in a couple of weeks. Make sure you check out our social media channels, YouTube as well. You can access a lot of our video content there. And I will let you all get back to work. Thank you so much for your time today, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.